Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
And today, especially for you, we have Jerry Falzone and the Silver Ghost Band. Very good band out of Rochester. In fact, Uncle Nick here reviewed them, right?
Oh, yeah, over at
the Mez, wasn't it?
Mez.
Mez.
That was a nice evening. What do we have, five?
Five, well,
Five pieces?
yeah, it was one lady, Debbie, who actually harmonized
nice
with
harmony.
Jerry Falzone. What would you call his music? Soothing.
Music.
That's what Uncle Nick would call
it's
it,
like
right?
music. It's got notes and rhythm and, what would you call it, like a soft rock? Or
Soft rock,
something
yeah,
like that.
very, very.
Bordering, some were bordered on kind of like a little country feel to it.
Well, I guess you could find what you want out of it. You could almost hear
best,
and get anything out of it.
Don't tell them too much because they won't watch. Just
But you will enjoy this group. Five people in the group. They're all from this area, but we have a couple segments with them where we talk about their touring. They did a being on the road tour for 5 years, I believe, back in the 80s. And they talk about that, two of the men and one of the ladies, the three of them. So they've known each other for a long time. And we talk a little bit about what happened on the road, and also we talk about their songwriting abilities, because Jerry Falzone,
does the songwriting.
He's in over 100 songs.
Right. In fact, that's basically what he is. He plays guitar, rhythm, and sings, but basically he's the songwriter. And then Ray,
Ray is
a guitarist, plays a nice guitar, and then bass player and
he plays
drummer.
lead guitar.
Ray plays lead guitar, right?
And the bass, the drummer.
So
and
it's
the
a
bass
typical
player.
complement of instruments,
And then, of course, we have your Uncle Nick's Corner, and we have our showcase again, which is going to be talking about the road on the tour, special showcase, an interview, and just everything.
Yeah,
so,
just our regular program.
And just stay tuned.
I think people will like this.
And, be nice. So we'll see you on the show.
Don't touch that dial.
Morning sun is shining bright. I've been sleeping for a while. If I could open up my eyes, I'd see 1,000 miles. But nothing's ever quite as clear as what's been left behind. The distant days that seem so dear have nearly left me blind, nearly blind. Nothing ever mattered like this guitar in my hand, and all the wasted midnights when I tried to make my stand. Riding trains, flying planes, driving in my car, only it took me farther from the place where you are, where you are, where you are. No matter what I try to do, nothing else compares with you. Baby, I am coming home to you. The afternoon is burning like a blowtorch in my mind. The anger from last evening has started to subside. I could have a drink or two, maybe I'd unwind, but my vision's far too clear for that. You are far too kind, far too kind, far too kind. I can almost feel the rolling of the scenery out back. The porter, he keeps calling for another change of track. Someone right behind me blowing smoke rings from his mouth. Me, I'm waiting patiently, just waiting to get out and get to you. The evening sun is dying red with Memphis to my right. The land where Elvis helped us all to clearly see the light. Sometimes I swear I feel all his music in my veins, but tonight I'm only all shook up with you inside my brain, in my brain. In my brain. No matter what I try to do, nothing else compares with you. Baby, I am coming home. Home to you. Home to you. Home to you. Home to you. Home to you.
Very nice, guys. Welcome to the music show. This is, of course, our interview segment of the show, and we have for you Jerry Falzone and the Silver Gray Fox. No, the Silver Ghost Band, and they've done a couple of numbers for us, and we hoped to get some more out of you tonight. And but thought maybe you might want to have the honor of introducing your group and maybe the instrument that they play.
I would love to do that.
Okay, I'll let you.
That would be Eric Davidson over there on the bass guitar. Greg Andrews, who I've actually known longer than anybody else up here. I went to high school with Greg. Greg Andrews on drums. One of my best friends in the world, Ray Belizia, on guitar. And one of my other best friends in the world, Debbie Randon, on vocals.
Yeah, you and Debbie have known each other for a long time. In fact, you were on the road together along with Ray. And we're going to, of course, be talking that later. But I guess just a few questions for you. I'm glad that, again, that you're with us. The music is, I won't describe it, but it's definitely Jerry Falzone-ish. And it's all originals, by the way, everybody, and very good music. Well, let's start with our first question. How long have you, this band has been together this long, I don't suppose, but the two or three of you have been.
Well, I'm not even sure how it started, but Ray and I started playing together for a while. Greg kind of joined in, and Eric came up and played with us. The four of us have been playing this year, I think since January. Debbie comes up every once in a while, and she graces us with her presence.
Yes, I guess so. But
Not too often, though, but she does come up every once in a
well,
while.
she's a great backup singer, but from what I hear, she's quite a soloist, too.
Oh, yeah.
She performs different places. So do you have any places in particular you can mention that you perform or play? Or?
Well, I'm not really performing at the time. I'm mostly DJing.
DJing. Well, that's a performance of its own. And,
It is a performance.
Right.
But I keep my voice up by singing with the karaoke, and
I guess
it keeps
you
me
do.
in shape.
Yeah. Well, the
For
one
what
thing
I-
I did notice, and I mentioned to the guys, is how well you blend with Jerry. And I think it's kind of unusual for a man and woman to blend that well together. And you guys, you're lucky. Boy, you got a good group here. Backing you up.
They're not bad. They're not bad.
He is
You'll
lucky.
keep them, right? Well,
I'd like to think I'm the weakest link in the band.
well, I would give you a higher honor than that. I think Jerry, I think you're great. Look, I know that you're a songwriter too, and can I ask, how many songs have you written? Have you a lot? 5 or 6?
Oh my God.
this week.
I think 172 now.
Are you serious? We're in the hundreds probably, though.
No, it's been over 100, yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. I write songs, I've written songs for other people to do. Debbie had a CD that came out quite a while
wrote a
ago.
lot of the
I
songs.
did a lot of the songs on that. I write songs for the church I go to. I mean, I write songs for other people.
And he's been writing for
fairly often.
many years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to get again into that more on the show, probably during the roundtable. And I guess the band right now, you said you had something coming up, though, around
June 12th.
June 12th.
We will be playing at the Mez over on Gregory Street.
Okay, sounds good. And you have a CD, maybe somebody can pass me the CD. The CD we have is called, I'll let you introduce it, and I'll hold it up.
It's called Off the North Coast, and most of the songs that we're going to do tonight, or that we have been doing tonight, are from that CD. There's just one other one that wasn't. It's going to be on the next CD that'll be coming out, I think in August. I'm just not sure what year yet.
Okay, I'll let you take that. Well, guys, again, I want to thank you for being with me. We have a lot of interesting segments coming on today. We have a particular one that we were talking about doing that's we've never done before. It's generally our instrument showcase or our talents showcase, and we're going to have a bands on tour showcase, bands on the road showcase, and we'll be going into that a little later. And then we're going to get, when we get to the round table, we're going to be able to question you and talk to you about the songwriting and all the interesting things. But that bands on tour thing, that's the do's and don'ts in that. You got to watch that. So, guys, thanks a lot, and I know you got some more songs to do for us, everybody. Stay tuned, and we'll be right with you.
As I walk through this forest, everything has changed. I may be lost completely, but I'll find my way again. I will bypass this trail, walk against the wind. Though I'm bound to fail, sometimes I might win. I have been through hell and high water, but I'm learning to swim. I have fought back the waves at the levee, and I'm learning to win. I'm learning to win. I will crawl through this thicket till I'm bloody and spent, and I'll cast off what's wicked. My soul will repent. I have been through hell and high water, but I'm learning to swim. I have fought back waves at the levee, and I'm learning to win. Send the dark man to greet me.
Send the dark man to greet me.
Send the fire and the rain. I may fall down completely.
I may fall down completely,
But I'll rise up. I will rise up. I will rise up again. I have been through hell and high water, but I'm learning to swim. I have fought back ways at the levee, and I'm learning to win. I have been through hell and high water, but I'm learning to give. I have fought back the waves at the levee, and I'm learning to live. I'm learning to live.
Once again, welcome to the Music Show. I'm Ray Braselton, your host, and we are now at our showcase segment of the show, and we have for you Jerry Falzone and the Silver Ghost Band. I got it right. And we have with you Ray, and how do you pronounce your last name?
Belizia.
Belizia? And
Debbie Randon.
Say again?
Debbie Randon.
Debbie Randon, and of course, the infamous, famous
Me.
Jerry Falzone. And Jerry, you've been in this business for quite a while, I guess.
What was it that gave it away?
Yeah. Probably that silver, yeah, right, Silver Ghost Band. But you've been on the road for a long time, too, or you were on the road back in the, what was it, the 80s?
80s, yeah.
And you had a couple people with you, and I believe it was Ray and Debbie. And how many years did you do that? 5, was it?
Well, Debbie and I did it for almost 10, but maybe about 9 years. Ray came in the band in the last 4.5, 5 years. So,
Well, the name of this segment that we're actually is, I think we're going to name it Bands on Tour. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts of on the road, maybe a story or two. But I guess to start with, what I'd like is to kind of know what to expect. People out there might be interested in getting on the road, whether that's something to do before you get too involved. Is that something that would be better before you play out a lot, or does it prep you for playing out for entertaining, or is it better the other way around? That's the kind of a question I'm going to ask. Also, tell us a little bit about the good times and maybe some one low point story, and I'm sure we can get a lot of information for you out there that may be interested. Give us a whirl on it.
well, being on the road as far as do's and don'ts, I'd say the first thing is don't. But if you decide to do it, get a good agent that can book the tour for you. I mean, if you want to know how to do it, that's really the very first thing to be working with, because if you don't, you end up going from Albany to Jackson, Mississippi with a day in between, or you get a truck that'll break down in the middle of Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania, and they don't know that it broke down until they're in Washington. All things like that can happen. But if you have a good agency that's behind you, they'll set up a tour that'll, be right in line. And when we used to do it, we'd go in Canada, and then we'd be going down to Florida, and then we'd be going out to Alabama, and then up to Windsor or whatever. There wasn't a lot of rhyme or reason in it, so I think that could be done a lot better now.
What kind of music did you do, by the way?
It was
rock and roll.
Yeah, rock and roll music. Yep. Yep. Always been doing that.
And then, so you've been friends for a long time, I take it. When did you meet? During the tour, or did you meet before the tour, or how did you guys meet anyhow? The three of you.
Well, Debbie and I met when I was in another band, and man, I don't even know how long ago that was. It was.
About it, though, when we got together, when I joined your band.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't want her to join the band. I was very happy that she did after a while. But Ray, I met Ray in a bar one night, and I heard a lot about him, and and we actually had a very long conversation. And when we had the opportunity to get him in the band, we jumped at it. And,
Did you used to play? You were playing at the time. He probably saw you playing.
Yes, I played with another band at the time.
Well, tell us again, maybe some more on the road. What people are to. What do you expect? I mean, is it all that glory that everybody thinks it is? Tell us about that.
Nothing but glory. It's wonderful. Nothing but the big lights and.
Sure.
Except for the other 7 weeks that you're on the
Right.
road. It's usually every tour you'll have a really nice night.
Yeah.
And the other 6 weeks are just, they're waiting to get to that one night. But
Well, I imagine there's some, downsides. Like I would think that it's not quite as much fun when you have to drive from long distances, or maybe in some cases sleep on the bus. I don't know, but I've heard it's not quite as fun as maybe some people may think, as far as the ride and drive and.
Debbie, you would know this better than anybody else. How much fun was it on the road?
Tell us, Debbie.
It was so much fun. It's it's a job, and if you get along with the guys in the band, that's the great thing. It's like you become a family, and you share your experience, and if you're, especially when you're young like that, it's all fun, and there's a lot of things that go wrong, but you share it and you get through it, and you learn to toughen up, and then do the music. That's the best part.
Oh, of course. But you were young, and I would imagine it'd be easier for younger people than it would be for,
Definitely.
People
Oh,
who
you
have
can't
a
do it either.
family. That's got to be
That,
very
I
tough.
can't even imagine that,
Did
so.
you notice he said you were young?
Yes. Well, I was
I
young.
wanted to bring that up.
No, we're all-
Thank you, Jerry.
We're all young in heart. But now, I know, did you have any particular story that you could tell us? It seemed that you had one or two stories you were talking about earlier before we were on the air.
Oh, yeah.
can
There
you tell
are a
some
lot of
stories?
them.
Yeah, tell us one.
We got to be very, very popular up in Montreal. In fact, one of the times we played there, well, we would have a line at the door on a Monday night, wait for people just waiting to get in. And the tradition in Canada is if you're playing up there, you get paid in Canadian money. And we did maybe, 3 gigs in this one room. They were playing in Montreal, and decided that we were going to get a little bit cocky and we're going to demand American money. And they said, no problem. We'll be happy to pay you. You're a great band. You're doing great business. If that's what you want, no problem. So it was my job to get paid and to take care of the bill. So I got paid, and sure enough, the guys out there giving us all the money in American bills, just putting it out on the table, and I'm picking it up, I'm counting it. It's the right amount of money. And the next day we go down to Plattsburgh because we were playing there to get back to home. So having to take care of the bills, I went to the post office, got money orders for all the bills that we had to take care of, send the money out. A couple more bills came up the next day before we left to go home, so I went back to the post office, and the clerk looked at me and goes, "You're the guy that gave me all those 20s yesterday, right?" And I mean, I'm pretty obvious because it was a military town and I had, hair down to here. So, yeah, I'm the guy. And he said, "Do you know that was all counterfeit?"
Oh, my.
I said, "You got to be kidding me." Fortunately, I knew enough to know that they accepted it, and so I'm free.
Yeah.
I walk out of the post office, and we're driving back to the hotel, and I see a New York State trooper coming the other way with his lights on, and I just go, "That guy's he's after me right now. I know it." So I went back, and sure enough, there was the clerk was behind the counter with the New York State trooper, and I walked in, and I said, "You may be looking for me," and the clerk goes, "That's him!" And I'm going, "Take me." So they brought me into the into the police station, and Well, they interviewed me for a long time, for
That's
about
what you call it? This
yeah,
interview?
it was an interview for about 4 hours, and the gist of it was that they said that I could go to jail for this, but they realized I didn't know what I was doing, and
Right.
so.
What?
But the next time that we came into Plattsburgh, there was a big poster in the window of the place we were playing, and there were all these newspaper articles around the poster. So I'm thinking, wow, we got some press. Well, it was Jerry Falzone, counterfeiter. So I'm not sure exactly where they came from, but they found out about me there
Well,
too.
now you've, the showcase is supposed to be educational. So I think you've educated a lot of people what dues to do and what not to
Yeah,
do. So, right?
take Canadian money.
Right, okay, you got it.
when in Canada.
Well, any other tips about the road? I mean, is there anything that, in particular, that you could tell us that might be interesting? That not stories, but anything you should watch out for while you're
Yeah,
on the
that would
road?
be a story. You should be very careful about where you're staying.
Okay.
The accommodations are a really big part of being on the road. The first time we went on the road, we had a beautiful hotel. After that, it was not really nice. It wasn't very pleasant for the most part. So, try and just know everything that you're getting into before you go. It's a very, very good idea to know where you're going to be staying.
It sounds to me like you guys had a good experience, because I've heard some bad experiences. And it's usually from older people,
As opposed to
All
us.
right, as opposed to us, right? And it's just interesting, and apparently it went well for you. I'm glad it did. And, everybody, I hope you learned a little something about it. And if you decide you want to go out on the road, make sure you don't go to Canada and take counterfeit money. And I'm sure there's a lot more stories you could tell, but I think we'll wrap it with that. And we have an interesting segment coming up for the roundtable at the end of the show, where we're going to talk about some of the songwriting that you've done, and that should be really interesting. So everybody stay tuned. We'll see you in a little bit.
I have been sailing forever, it seems. Sailing in daylight, sailing each night in my dreams. I cast out line for the fish that I take. I keep my eye on the wind as it blows off the lake. And I'll follow the stars as they fall through the night. I'll follow the sun into the light of the North Pole. I've heard it said when a man needs to run, follow his heart into his own setting sun. Well, I take my refuge wherever I can. I face the future, but I keep my back to the sand. I'll follow the stars as they fall through the night. I'll follow the sun into the light of the North Pole. this wheel, I've got this rope. My mind's on my compass, my heart is so full of hope. And I'll follow the stars as they fall through the night. I'll follow my dreams into the light off the North Coast, off the North Coast. Na 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 na.
Hello and welcome again to Uncle Nick's Corner. You know, we cover a lot of different subjects on this, and we get in depth on some things we just skim over. A while back I did a little session on the subject of practice, and I know some of you younger folk out there are saying, practice, practice, I hate to practice. But what I find invariably in my years of teaching, those who dedicate themselves to a good practice schedule always make the best progress. There are some certain issues that we really should talk about when it comes to practice. First of all, the frequency. Frequency of practice always is better if it's every day. You take once a day. The time is kind of like secondary to the frequency. Some people practice only 10, 15 minutes a day, and since they get at it every day, they make good progress. Some people practice a half an hour a day. I had one student I've had for 4 or 5 years who started out, he told me the other night he was frustrated when he first started out because he wasn't getting it. So instead of quitting or instead of just turning around and going the other way, he ended up dedicating about 45 minutes a day. And when he practiced, he continued. And you know, as he was practicing, I hardly noticed that he was struggling because the struggle was taken care of in his practice. And we just continued to go over the things that he needed to work at. Now he's playing in the upper positions. He's doing quite well. So the idea of practicing every day is really a good thing. As far as note reading is concerned, when you learn to note read, the best thing to do is read over your studies once or twice and then go to another one. Keep going to different ones. Trying not to memorize the songs that you're working on, because once you memorize them, they're no longer good for note reading. In fact, once you memorize them, then you go over them again, and that's when your technique ends up getting better and better. You would be playing something, you wouldn't be as concentrating on the note reading part of it, you would be just concentrating on the technique and the manual part of it, moving your fingers and that. So after you become familiar with a reading exercise, that's the best thing to do. Also, in that same vein, it's probably good to use finger exercises. Now, I have a whole group of finger exercises that I use. Actually, sometimes I incorporate the pentatonic scale because it's using 1, 4, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 4, and it's within the position, and it's giving you that good 4-finger position. Also, there are some things like that. Individual finger work. I have one where I just move the finger from one string to the next. I don't even play it. But all of them are designed to get your fingers in that good 4-finger position. It gives you independent strength, independent movement, flexibility. That's the key to the left hand of the guitar, is that independent movement, the independent strength. So finger exercises are good for that. Also, one other thing as far as practice is concerned, if you're coming into a passage of music that you're having a little bit of trouble with, isolate it. Take a couple measures, take a whole passage, take one phrase, one measure, and isolate it and go over it and over it again until you have it. Then once you have it, bring the things before it, all the a measure or two before it, and put it in with that, so that you can make the transition from the music that's before it to that problem passage, and then also then coming out of it. So take it in sections, work on the passage that's the most difficult, then hook it together with the passages before and the passages after. But I can't overemphasize the need for good organized practice. In my own practice time, I designate a little time for technique, a little time for learning new material, a little time for theory, a little time for this, a little time for that. And I try to keep it pretty well organized, and I try to hit it at a regular period of time. If you can't practice every day, try not to get more than a couple days in between, because when you do, you forget what you've done on one practice session, and then if the next one is 4 days later, it's like starting over again. Continuity is the key. Continuity is the key. So at any rate, if you have any questions on this subject or any other subject, or if you would like us to cover any subject, just call, write, phone. We have the email address. I bet you it's going across the screen now as I speak. But get in touch with us. We'd be happy to hear from you. So until next time, we'll see you again.
I have always been captured by the light, imprisoned by the written word. But now I hear the wind dancing in the night. It's the sweetest sound I've ever heard. Dance with me, dance with me, let this slip away. Dance with me, dance with me, until my dying day. Things I never knew, are mine to hold because of you. I see the light of day, I see the stars at night, for the first time in my life. Dance with me, let this slip away. Dance with me, dance with me, until my dying day.
Hello, everybody. Again, this is the Music Show and the Round Table. And my name's Ray Braselton. I'm your host.
And I'm Nick Rita, co-host.
And we have had a good day with the Jerry Falzone group and the Silver Ghost Band. And they got it. All of them. And I guess we could start off by introducing Jerry. You want to introduce your name and what you play, basically?
My name is Jerry Falzone, and I'm a songwriter, and I play guitar.
And my name's Ray Belizia, and I play the guitar.
Plays lead guitar, right?
Lead guitar.
Yeah, right.
And I'm Eric Davidson, and I play the bass.
And I'm Debbie Randon, and I do some backup vocals.
Greg Andrews, drums.
And we thank you again, everybody, for being on the show. We've had a good time with you today, and hope you enjoyed it as much as we have.
Been great to
Oh,
do.
yeah,
It's very well.
And you did a good job today. We want to start off with our email
The
today,
mailbag, yeah.
our mailbag.
You have a pretty interesting one, don't you, Ray?
Yeah, well, actually, the mailbag came by hand from my student. She,
Wait, you allow your students to ask questions?
yes, they asked questions. I said, I am
I
not
tell them
answering
just
this
sit
here.
there and be quiet and listen.
We're going to right. I should have said that, but
Yeah.
no. She's a sweetheart.
What
and
does she play?
She wanted you guys to answer it.
What does she play?
Well, she plays guitar. Yeah.
Okay, a guitar.
So the question is, what is the hardest instrument there is to play? She says, Mr. Braselton, what's the hardest instrument there is to play? And so I said, well, I'll turn this over to
That's quite
the
a
band
question.
here. And
Quite
so
a
that's
question.
kind of a
Sounds like she wants to get the easiest way out.
yeah. It could be, but it sounds to me like that's a question that would be determined by how physically how you
What?
were.
Yeah, what they are adept at. I
Yeah.
find I was saying earlier, violin to be like
Yeah, I would.
a difficult instrument. You have the fingering has to be right. There
Oh,
are
boy.
no frets, and the bowing has to be right.
Yeah.
If you change the pressure of the bow, you change the intonation.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I have one little student who's just a natural, and she plays it like, it's pretty easy for her. But I know the complexity of it, and I know that it is a difficult instrument. But
Well, it's funny because we were talking to you about the clarinet, and I teach clarinet, but I find that a difficult instrument to teach
Right.
and to play.
Right, yeah.
And yet you played clarinet. didn't
yeah,
you?
and I find it kind of relatively easy.
Did any of you find anything, maybe that an instrument you took in school or something that was hard for you to do?
Well, I think to play any instrument at a proficient level is a difficult thing. It's not something that you just sit down unless you're naturally gifted and just have this ability that to play anything proficiently is difficult.
That's a very good answer, because even as what would seemingly seem to be a simple instrument to play, to be done correctly, it is not so simple.
Certainly,
It
it takes dedication. Without a doubt, the students that I have that are most successful are the ones that spend time on the instrument, and they have a certain love for it. You know some of them when they first come in, like for instance with guitar, and they hold the guitar. You can look at the kid and say, "This kid's going to do okay," because
Just naturally.
he just picks it up. And but even the ones who are pretty natural at it, if they don't put the time into it, they're not going to.
Absolutely.
So, whatever the instrument is, I think first of all you have to have a desire to play that particular instrument for whatever reason. So,
Well, but I think that's going to have to be our answer. I mean, you can pick many different instruments. We all can pick an instrument, and it may be hard for us and easy for somebody else.
I think
So
somebody
it's-
who's undecided should probably try 2 or 3 different instruments
Right.
and see what they like.
So Mackenzie, there you go. Your teacher, your old guitar teacher here, got them to answer it for you, and I think they did a better job than I would.
Now,
have,
no
so.
more questions, right?
Mackenzie, no more questions. Okay, thank you, Mackenzie, again. I want you to also realize that you can write in the mailbag, and you'll see it on your screen. Also, you can email in. You'll see on the front of the screen, you'll see all the letters that you need to do that, and the numbers.
Stop by the store.
Stop by the store, drop something off, or become a
Certainly.
student and ask me a question. I'll give it to you. But either way you want to do it, just feel free to write to us.
Actually, we do like questions, so
Yeah, we
keep
definitely
asking
do.
questions. Right.
So again, let's get back now to the group. a group that plays, to me, very, very soothing music. And to me, I hear from you guys stories. And your titles of your songs are very nice. Kind of, I saw a lot of sea and nature. And was that something that, am I seeing that right? Is somebody involved with nature in this group a lot, or the sea? Seem like songs, or is it just feelings that you have that? What gets you to write songs? You're the writer. You write all these songs. What gets you to come up with these titles and these words and everything?
This particular CD, getting on the other side of a fairly bad divorce,
Oh,
believe it or not. Yeah,
it.
all the songs, pretty much all the songs on the CD were they're metaphors. You know,
okay.
Off the North Coast is, it's just, you know, when you grow up by Lake Ontario, you know, that's really a big part of it. When you grow up by Lake Ontario and you have something that is bad that happens to you, and you just have to walk someplace. I used to always walk by the lake because, you know, it was just a very soothing thing for me to be able to do. But that's where that CD came from for the most part.
Yeah, you can see a lot of feeling in your music, and not just the feeling from the words and the titles of the songs, but boy, the chords that you use to write these songs, beautiful chords,
Thank you.
And it flows so well. And then you have such a good group to back you up with. I mean, Debbie is wonderful in backing up with the harmony and everything. She does a good job.
Debbie's really a good singer.
She's behind you. You better say she's good.
I know. She was holding onto my collar.
But, the group, I know, we talked earlier in the show about the trips and the tours and everything that you've been on. And very interesting. I'm sure we could go into more if we had more time, a lot more stories like that. But basically, your group is playing now in this area. I mean, you've been in it for years and years, and now after all these years, you're still writing songs and playing out. What motivates you to continue? You know, what gives you the energy to write all these songs, like over 100 songs? I mean, what puts that in you to do that? I mean, other than divorcing.
Yeah, because I really don't want to have to go through that again. The reality is that, you know, I don't think of it that way. I think of it like, what could possibly motivate me to stop doing it?
Okay.
And I can't even imagine what that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been doing this for many, many years, and every time I write a new song, I'm thrilled. If it's a good song, I'm thrilled by the fact that it came out that way. And you know, what's been happening lately is that as I've been writing them, I've been bringing them over to Ray over here, because Ray and I are putting together the second CD, and it's just been such a wonderful you know, partnership, because I'll bring him a tune, and a lot of times he'll take that tune and give me a song. And so I'm really looking forward to seeing how this next one goes. It's just been a great experience.
So you've been somewhat instrumental, no pun intended, in writing these songs too, a little bit. Yeah.
I lend a hand when I can.
Yeah. Now I know you write for other people, and you've written for Debbie too, and I imagine you've written for other people besides Debbie.
Oh, yeah.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, I've written for country people. I've written for blues people. I've written a lot of songs for the church that I go to.
Yeah, what's the name of the church you go to?
Lakeshore Community Church in North Greece.
And you have a nice community church that does like worship songs, or you said you had not a cafeteria, but a
Well, you know, when you write songs and you want to go out and play, and you really don't feel like
Yeah.
being in a top 40 band,
right.
what I found that I have to do is I have to invent my jobs.
Okay.
And so that's what I've done. At Lakeshore, at the church, they actually allowed me to use a church and put together a coffee house.
Coffee house, that's
Yeah,
what it was.
that's the word, yeah.
Cafeteria. Go ahead.
Well, they have a cafeteria there someplace too. I just haven't seen it myself yet, but
I'm getting hungry.
At the coffee house.
Yeah, but they've allowed me to use a building to do that because they're very confident in what I've been able to do for them. So we started this out on a shoestring, and the first time we did it, we had 12 people. The last time we did it, we had about 160 people that came in. So it's something that's been growing through the last few years, and it's been just a great night.
You have something coming up. Did you say June the 12th? Well, of course, we can't.
Yes.
We're not supposed to be giving dates on the show, but nevertheless, done now, and 2009, and you've got. But
It's a
that's
Friday, people.
7:30. No, whatever. But you're going to be performing. Where is that?
It's called the Mez. It's a coffee house over on Gregory Street.
Right.
You play there
And,
often?
Yeah, fairly often.
Right.
We've been able to draw a real nice amount of people in there for the most part.
That's where I
and,
saw you and
Oh yeah.
Right.
when I went over to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
How could,
I'm-
do you have a website though that people can check out to see where your
Yes,
gigs are?
so make sure that you have a pen ready right now because it's very difficult.
Say it slowly.
JerryFalzone.com.
And
That's
that's the website now.
That's
Do you have
the
an
website.
email? That,
Yeah, you do post your gigs on there. And
Oh, yes, I do post my gigs on there. And yes, if you want to email me, that certainly is fine. Get that pen ready. It's JerryFalzone@JerryFalzone.com.
okay, not that, Jerry.
this is getting tough, you know.
And let's take a good look at that CD. We'll go out on the program on this this great CD here on the table. I don't know if you can get that mic or not. You got it. Okay, it's been on.
There it is. There it is.
There it is again.
The round
Okay.
table.
So, hey, look, I really enjoyed you guys. It was fun. You're wonderful people, and I can't wait to. Nick got to review you. I didn't get to go see us,
yeah.
but I reviewed you tonight. So, what the heck, right?
Well, come on and see it. It's a nice, it's
will.
a nice night.
Yeah, very
It's a
good.
nice night.
Okay, everybody, thank you for the music show. We will see you soon. Okay, join us again. Bye.
Bye-bye.
The sun is setting over my shoulder with every color in sight. I think I'm feeling just a little bit bolder as I head out into the night. I don't care what it looks like, it's not another lonely night. It's a real fine night. Yeah, it's a real fine night. I wanna dance with you under the pale moonlight. It's a real fine night. Sometimes I feel the weight of the world crashing down on me, but tonight it's just you and me, and no more misery. I don't care what it looks like, it's not another lonely night. It's a real fine night. Yeah, it's a real fine night. I wanna dance with you, dance with you, dance with you, baby, under the pale moonlight. Yeah, it's a mighty fine night. Dance with me, baby, dance with me. Please just hold me tight through this real fine night. It's a real fine night. Yeah, it's a real fine night. I wanna dance with you under the pale moonlight. Yeah, it's a mighty fine